Froogle Sim videos are powered by Jetline Systems.
YouTube, this is Froogle. Welcome back to my ill-fated journey. I've got to turn this thing on again. My ill-fated journey from Eastbourne to Brighton. You remember in part 1 I did actually screw up. I went through a danger signal. And apparently that made everything void. Dovetail in their infinite wisdom did give me an option there to continue, but the continue was basically go back to school. It put me back into a training session to learn how to drive a train. So that's not effective. But in the timetable, there is a trip from Lewes to Brighton. So this part 2, we're going to pick up right here in Lewes, a little bit later in the morning, still spring. And we're going to continue on our merry way out to Brighton. So the next stop is going to be Falmer. What am I supposed to do when I see that danger signal exactly? Am I just supposed to stop? Look. 10 miles an hour is the limit. There is a green light. So as soon as I get the all clear here, we're going. We're not going to have any nonsense again. There's only like 3 stops now up to Brighton. But it's pretty scenic up here. I like it up here. Come on. Load those passengers. Passengers are loaded. I have to wait until 10:54, so I might as well leave the doors open for a minute and we'll continue to look around here. Different platform this time as well. Shorter train, a different platform. Look at that architecture. Again, a Victorian era train station. Very iconic looking with the pointed roofs and everything else. And the cast iron bridge going across the railway tracks. Lots of history. Lots and lots of history here. Right, let's jump back in. It is nearly 10:54, I think. Yep, 9 seconds to go. So we'll hover over this door close button and get ready to take off. Metaphorically speaking, because it's a train. And then it'll take off. Okay, that's closing. Everything is good. I think I'm good. So, no, not brake. Up we go. P1. We're actually not moving. So we'll put the switch into forwards and we'll press P1. There we go. Now we go. So 4.4 miles to go to Falmer. Now Falmer has become, in not so recent years, I always think recent, but it's not, has become a college town. It is the train station that you go to if you're attending Sussex University, which has grown into quite a prestigious university, actually. That's Falmer. So you can kind of imagine, if you like, the population. As I said, Eastbourne is God's waiting room. Lots of retirees go there. It's a very quiet, sleepy town, although it is also a seaside resort town, predominantly elderly people. Same goes for Polegate. Hannon Park's a little bit younger, a little bit rowdier. Lewes here, getting a lot younger now. You're heading into a college kind of mindset here, so you do have younger people. It is commutable up to London, so you have that group of people living there as well, but it's a younger community, and obviously Falmer, very young. It's a college town, so alcohol is the order of the day up in Falmer. I did actually go to Falmer once, because I did go to Sussex University to look around when it was thought that maybe I was academically inclined and I should go get an education. I'm not academically inclined, and I didn't go get an education. What is that? I don't remember ever seeing that. Because that's kind of cool. I like the historical stuff. But anyway. So I didn't actually go to university, but I did visit there for, what do they call that? An orientation day. You get to look around and go, ooh, ah. But never went there. Went and got a job. As you do. Writing codes. This is familiar. I think these are tennis courts over here. Leaving Lewes. I think that might be what that is. But again, some of this has changed. It has been 15 years since I was last in England, let alone the south coast of England. I am planning to go back at some point. My father passed away about 18 months ago. And it's been a bit of a nightmare settling his estate. But when it's finally all settled, the plan is to take my wife and kids back for a trip, see some family and stuff like that. All right, nice tunnel. Let's see what it sounds like in the tunnel. A little bit echoey. That's kind of neat. Not quite as dramatic as I was hoping, but a little bit good. Just 4 or 5 minutes to go now on our trip out towards Falmer. And we should see the main road. I think the main road is off to the left here, which is, again, is the A27. That big main dual carriageway road that runs along the south coast. Should be over there somewhere. Look at that. No. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there's the road. It doesn't look as big and impressive as it actually is in real life, but it is a dual carriageway. You can clearly see that. Ha! Well done. Well done. Bonus points for you there, Dovetail. That's pretty cool. Let's speed up a bit because the speed limit is increased. That's pretty cool, actually. It does look like that. Muddy tractor's track on the left there. Again, this is all farmland. Are those random... Oh, it looked like random errant cows wandering onto the train track for some reason, but no. There's one of the farmers, aforementioned, over there. Oh, flyby. Cool flyby view. I like that. I can't do it again, though. That's the button. Alright, let's get back in. Ah... Alright, 2.2 miles to go now until we arrive in Falmer, and I think, I can't remember, I think there's Moulsecoomb next, which is kind of a suburb of Brighton. And again, didn't really ever spend a lot of time in Moulsecoomb. I don't really remember there being very much there at all worth seeing. That might have changed. And again, no disrespect meant to anybody that does actually live there or originate there. Just how it was when I was a kid growing up. Many, many eons ago. 1.7 miles to go now. We're on a 1.1% incline because, again, South Downs, rolling hills. Now, Brighton, for the flight simmers, Brighton Airport, also known as Shoreham Airport. Brighton Shoreham Airport is just beyond where we're going to end up at Brighton train station. I actually learned to fly there. I had my first real flying lesson in a Cessna 172, I think it was, out of Shoreham. Yeah, I managed to tie a train sim video into flight sim. That's how you do it. Alright, let's try to get a bit more speed here. We don't just grind to a halt yet. And again, I'm aware I'm not doing too good on the stopping. I'm kind of throwing the passengers around. Not in any way a trained professional at the trains. Just wanted to really check out this scenery and have a bit of fun. I seem to remember that railway building being there, because I seem to remember passing that and wondering what the hell is that. Another tunnel, lots of those here. Oh, it got very dark. Lights. There we go. Now we can see. I got like bonus award points for doing that. This is a very long tunnel, and I do remember this long tunnel. Haha, that's cool. And then out we go into the sunlight. Turn the lights off now. Okay, so let's start slowing this thing down. 400 and something yards to go. Why do we still measure things in yards? I'm still, even at my age, not sure at all what a yard is compared to, say, a meter or a foot. We certainly don't use yards in flight and aviation, do we? Climb to 3,000 yards. Wonder why that is. See? College groups. Lots of young whippersnapper peoples getting their degrees in alcohol poisoning. Okay, door release. Much more modern train station, as you can see, and these are some of the fields and property of the college here. You can see it? That's neat that they've got that in. I like that. That'll be Sussex University. And Brighton. There's Falmer College, Sussex University, maybe even Brighton Polytechnic is here as well. They're all kind of in the same place, I think. Again, could be horribly mistaken. Right, passengers are loaded. Do I need to wait? No, we can just go this time. See if we're going to Moulsecoomb. We are going to Moulsecoomb. No idea of the origin of that name. It's such a weird name, isn't it? Moulsecoomb. But okay, that is just 2 minutes away. Very close stop. And then after Moulsecoomb, Brighton. The end of our journey. And a bit of a train hub, actually, because you have lines going from the west coast, so Portsmouth and all that lot, heading into Brighton, I think. You certainly have lines from King's Cross and Victoria in London, heading down to Brighton, and obviously the Eastern Coastway line here that heads out to Eastbourne and Hastings. More of the college properties, I think, over here. Wonderful stuff. Just 1.4 miles to go, and you will start to see now as we get closer to Brighton that the scenery will change. I need to slow down a bit here. I think I just passed the speeds. No, it actually went up. And it'll start to get more built up and more urban. Brighton is a sprawling city. I think it's actually classed as a city, although historically in England you're not a city unless you have a cathedral, and I don't think there's a cathedral in Brighton. But anyway, it is classed as a city. It is big and sprawling and urban. It's quite young, quite cosmopolitan as well. You have a lot of college people living there as well as young professionals. There are a lot of companies in Brighton, quite big ones as well, like American Express, actually based there in Brighton. So you will start to see the stuff outside the window change as we pass Moulsecoomb, and it starts to become more modern. You can see it now, actually. A lot more houses, a lot more residential stuff going on. And it's an interesting mix as well, because you have houses and properties here which are Victorian in origin, like these. Very cheap living in the Victorian era, worker living, factory workers and stuff, and in the dawn of the industrial age, or height of the industrial age, all the way up to more modern housings. Let's put a bit more brake on than we have been. Try not to screw up this time. I'm throwing the people in the back around, but they shouldn't be standing up. I mean, the train hasn't come to a stop. You should stay in your seat, really. You know, you're just asking for trouble if you're getting up and walking around before we even arrive, honestly, especially with me driving. And here we are in Moulsecoomb. And again, don't know very much about this place at all. Don't know why either. There was just never any reason to go here, which makes me think it is a largely residential place. That would explain why there's not much reason to visit unless you live there or know someone that lives there. Another train on his way to Lewes. All right, we'll stop here. You can stop now, train. Doink. All right, let's open these doors. Hop outside, take a look. Look at this beautiful scenery. See, stuff like this, what I got. This is the distressing thing. We didn't have the Long Man of Wilmington, which is off in the distance. But here, off in the distance, and I do remember this is very, very iconic of Moulsecoomb. You have these rows and rows and rows of very old terraced houses. And you can clearly see those in this scenery, but you're going to miss out something like the Long Man of Wilmington. That's just, to me, quite odd. Don't know why they did that. Bit of a disappointment. Close the doors. And proceed now on the final leg of our trip into Brighton. Oh no, yeah, London Road. We're actually doing all the stops. London Road is a substation of Brighton. It's literally about a minute outside Brighton. I'm surprised we're stopping there. I'd completely forgotten all about that one. And I seem to remember we go over this huge, huge aqueduct that's about 100, 150 years old. You go across that into London Road. Now, I'm going to make a guess that London Road is so called because it's at the bottom of the M23. And the M23 is the motorway that goes from Brighton all the way up to London. It wasn't originally a motorway. The crazy Prince of Wales, I forget which one it was, George maybe? The nuts one. He wanted Brighton to be his summer home, and it couldn't be done. I'm racking my memory now, but I seem to remember there was some requirement from Buckingham Palace that it had to be within a certain amount of travel time of the palace for him to have a valid home there, and Brighton wasn't. So he built a straight line, basically a road that is a straight line from London to Brighton, which now is the M23. So it makes sense that London Road Station is probably related to that somehow. And I'm just guessing that. the why London Road is called London Road, but it does make sense to me as to why it would be called that. A lot of things in England are named quite explicitly as to why they're named that way. Pole Gate, for example, would have been a gate with some poles. Brighton, don't know about that one. Brighton, it is some seaside resort town again. Fans of The Who and Quadrophenia will be quite familiar with Brighton and the fights that took place between the mods and the rockers in Brighton in the 60s. So through our last tunnel, yeah, and then we leave Brighton, leave London Road, and then go over the aqueduct. So I thought it was the other way around, but no, the aqueduct is after London Road. And again, never been to London Road. Again, no reason to. I think it is a mainly residential area. Not a whole lot going on here. A residential suburb, if you like, of Brighton proper. Let's see if we can stop him. All right, stop. There's the aqueduct. There it is. You see that? Right there. Really cool looking industrial age bridge. Brighton actually has a museum as well, which kind of celebrates the Industrial Revolution with steam engines and steam trains and tractors and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of cool. See, you can see the scenery changing now. We've gone from those very, very classic terraced houses to more modern 40s, 1940s, 50s, and 60s style houses here. And then off in the distance there, ugly 60s and 70s style tower blocks. And then over there on the right, you can see up on the hill there, the older style terraced housing again. It's kind of cool. All right, doors closing. Now we get our final stop, which is, of course, Brighton. At 11:10, just 1 minute away, like I said. Got a sign here for 30 miles an hour on my speed limit, so I don't want to give it too much. And I do want to pop outside with the camera as we go over the bridge here, because it is a pretty dramatic looking bridge. I think, anyway. Yeah, it's 30 mile an hour limit, so I want to watch it a bit. Let's pop the camera outside. There you go. Isn't that cool? A classic aqueduct style bridge. For no reason. There's no river here. There's never a river here. I don't know why we have this bridge other than the houses down there. It's just neat looking. And then Brighton itself, again, is very similar to Eastbourne Station in terms of its architecture. It's an Victorian style train station. I'm just slowing down here because I am seeing a 20 mile an hour sign. You do have to coast into Brighton. I know that always used to annoy me as a passenger on these trains. Why are we coasting? Now I know why. There's a traffic speed limit signal right there saying slow the hell down. That line there that I'm looking at, that's the London line. Takes you all the way up to King's Cross, London. And London Victoria. Which, by the way, London Victoria train station also looks very similar. I imagine probably the same architect did Brighton train station here and Eastbourne Station. But now we're getting into Brighton proper. You can see much more modern housing, tower blocks on the left here. And on the right, quite ugly. You can hear in the distance seagulls. It's a coastal town. It's a coastal resort town. But it has, like I said, quite a cosmopolitan vibe to it. Lots of really cool and trendy restaurants, cafes, bars, nightclubs and stuff like that going on here as well. And a very cool motorbike scene, which was my focus after discovering this was a cool place to buy video games. Really started to get into the motorbike scene and come up here for a lot of motorbike events. Alright, now we have to stop properly here because there is a large wall at the end of the track. And if you don't stop properly, you will collide with the wall. I don't know if they modeled that. It's bumper. It's kind of not a wall, I guess. It's bumper system. They do have it. Like, there it is there. Oh, brilliant. Oh, no. Stop. Says he as he nearly collides with it. Now people are going to be getting off the right-hand side this time. So, those doors. And that ladies and gentlemen, it's the end of our trip, albeit with a break in the middle because I messed up. From Eastbourne, home of my youth, to Brighton. As always, my name is Froogle. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, I'll see you all very soon.